Beach FM, locals talking to locals.
My great pleasure to welcome to the program the Mayor of the Kapiti Coast District Council, which is looking just beautiful today. Guru, good morning and welcome to you.
Good morning, John. Good morning, listeners.
Yes, a gorgeous day. We've had a grand spell of weather recently in these extraordinary times. How are you in your bubble?
I'm good. I've dusted off my bicycle and I'm going for bicycle rides.
Yeah.
Take my dogs out for a walk, although
Lovely.
There's been a bit of conflict between myself and the wife, given that we normally take the dog to the beach and give it a good run.
Yes.
But now we can't.
That's right. That's
and
right.
So everybody's got to buckle down and listen to exactly what we need to do.
Absolutely.
And do it well.
I said before, and I felt almost a little bit guilty when I said, I'm quite enjoying these times. It's we've, of course, today I'm broadcasting from the studio, but the last 5 shows I've done from home, and that's been very good for us, good for me personally, a lot of new things to learn, but also good for the station when increasing the resilience. So I've got a feeling out of this is going to come some real positives.
I think there's going to be a digital shift.
Yes. Indeed. And is that happening with the KCDC as well, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, there's practically nobody at the office except for a very skeleton staff, the tech staff. And, of course, the Ministry of Environment has given a specific requirements as essential services. The RMA continues the planning, consenting, and compliance are essential services. Mm-hmm. Because we in turn support other essential services, any immediate health and life safety issues, any serious challenges to the environment harm. So we need some staff on that area. The technical staff, of course, have been working to transition a lot of our staff to work remotely. So it has been quite a challenging time. And last 2 weeks ago, when I saw some of the staff outside the council building, it looked as if the council building was being looted. People were taking their desktops and back to the home.
Well, there we are. That's commitment. There we are. So, yes, things certainly have changed. And something we learned on Friday is a new 0800 number being set up for those who are particularly vulnerable. Yeah,
I mean, this has been an interesting exercise. Originally, it was centrally controlled in Wellington as a call center. Then they decided to localize it to enable, have the welfare teams and the emergency operating center started operating the different councils. They decided to have their welfare groups manage it, and that's how we got our 0800 486 486 number. But then now things, as you know, move very fast in this area. They're now looking at centralizing it nationally.
Oh,
so there'll be a new number being given out. But we will keep both numbers to help people transition to the other one, because we don't want to be in a situation where people fall through the cracks.
Absolutely. Well, that's confusing. That's just a few days. I heard about that number on Friday. I don't know if I was behind the ball or not, but so that's moving very rapidly.
Very, very fast. And the other thing, of course, is that the 0800 486 486 number, some people have said the queue in that, because it becomes a normal call to the council, and the council gives you a whole list of council services that are available or not available, and people want the emergency time to be in the top end of the queue so that people can press the appropriate link to get the services that they need.
Well, that's so confusing, that, isn't it? Particularly
and the other one, of course, John, I sent you the list from the MSD that gives you a breakdown of the different services.
Indeed, you've
people
sent
don't
that
realize
to me.
that there are already national agencies which provide those specific work. So people have a clear set of information that gives them the ability to link up to them straight away. That will relieve our local workers and call centers from working too hard.
Yes, indeed. Thank you very much for that. And as I said to you off here, we'll be using that in some of our community notices information. So thank you.
Very good.
Thank you for that. Now, just to clarify, while it's an 0800 number, it is going at the moment to the KCDC.
Yes.
Right, okay. Now, I've had one or two complaints from some elderly gentlemen who feel as if they're getting caught short, Guru. The toilets are closed. Is this absolutely necessary?
Well, one thing I have to say is that the main clarion call that has gone right through the country is for people to stay home and stay in their bubbles at home, right? So you should have a toilet at home. Having said that, there are public toilet areas which have all been closed because of the risk to staff cleaning it.
Okay, so it appears, now I must say, I had to go to Wellington last Tuesday, and I began to sympathise with those complaints that I had personally received, because there weren't many toilets open in Wellington, but there were some. So is it possible to make an exception somewhere?
There is one being opened in Otaki, but that's because of the essential workers who are the truck drivers.
Oh, I see, of course. Now, that's something, isn't it? Because many of the roadside stops, the cafes, etc., that they would use not only to fill up but also to empty out, they have been closed, and that must be a very real issue.
The transport, the freight transport people, I think it's Nick Leggett who raised this issue, and it's been discussed by councils right across the country to help. And so in Kapiti, I think we've got the one in Otaki open.
Okay. How do you think the district has reacted to the level 4 restrictions? Do you think we're playing the game or not?
If you use a general data collection, which is the Google's geolocation data that's been customized for New Zealand, and it showed a very high level of reduction of people going to cafes and parks and reserves. I think it's like 91% drop. And in all the other areas too, there's been around 60 to 70% drop. Mm-hmm. The only area where it's increased is in residential areas, and that's understandable because of the isolation and the lockdown. So I think generally we are doing well, and I think Kapiti itself, I think people are doing quite good. There was the issue of the playgrounds, stuff like that, but I think people have started to realize the danger in there. But in Lower Hutt, I understand some people have, communities have got together and created their own joint playgrounds for the kids to come together, which is really crazy because that defeats the purpose of keeping the kids and people isolated.
Yes.
But I think Kapiti has done quite well, and the whole idea is if we all follow this diligently, the sooner we can get this lockdown lifted.
I have found that if you've got enough time to talk to people and work through the reason why, most people are willing to go along with the restrictions. There's a lot of science, there's a lot of darn good sense behind all of this. So I suspect, Sue, that both you and this radio station have got a role to play in trying to get the reasons why, because most sensible people will go along with something if they can see that it's reasonable.
Like the Prime Minister said, there are always those idiots.
Yes, that's
and
right.
All you need is a handful of idiots to create a handful of clusters.
That's right, and we don't want that.
No.
Well, so far so good. Let's hope that the good news continues at 1 o'clock this afternoon, and we continue to have not the kind of response they've got in New York. I was listening to.
Oh my God!
And
the other place I've been watching is India.
Oh really? Tell me more.
Well, I mean, the Prime Minister decided to lock down New Delhi.
Yes.
And what happened was you have millions of workers fleeing, the poorer people fleeing out into the country back to the villages.
Oh.
So you are distributing possible potential transmitters.
And the idea...
In Mumbai, I think they've got one of the world's biggest slums. And they've had the first few cases of COVID virus there.
Oh, my
and
God.
that's a highly dense population down there. So there's a disaster unfolding there.
Oh my gosh!
And at the end of the day, it's the poor people who get it.
Of course, because they're the ones who have got the fewer options.
Yes.
And the idea of keeping a 2-metre distance in a highly populated area such as Mumbai, at the best of times, would be practically impossible. So there's real issues there. And 1.3 billion people in India, something like that. That's right. It's enormous, isn't it? So here we are once again. I'll finish where I started in saying it's a beautiful day in the Kapiti coast. We should enjoy, and we should be very grateful that we have the kind of services that are available in this time of trial. I thank you for joining us, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, John. Thank you to the listeners, and thank you for the work that you do.
Thank you very much. That's great. There we are. That is the Mayor of the Kapiti Coast District Council, Mayor Gurunathan.
106.3 Beach FM.